today about the cell wall. So cell wall is a most important structure in the plant cell. About the cell wall is the outermost layer of the plant cell. It is present just above the cell membrane. The cell wall is present in plants, fungi, bacterial and archibacterial cells. The cell wall is present in plant cell, fungal cell, bacterial cell and archibacterial cell. In plant cell, the cell wall is made up of cellulose. In fungi, it is made up of chitin. In bacteria, it is made up of peptidoglycans. So, according to the type of organism, the chemical components of the cell wall are changed. In animal cell, the cell wall is totally absent. So, the question may be asked: write the structure of cell wall and give its functions. So first we will discuss about the structure of cell wall. The cell wall is made up of three layers, namely middle layer, middle lamella, primary wall and secondary wall. So the sequence, you remember the sequence: firstly middle lamella, then primary wall and then secondary wall. So this is the middle lamella, it is the outermost layer of the cell wall. The outermost layer, it is middle lamella, and it acts as a cementing material between the cells. So because of the presence of middle lamella, the adjacent cells are joined with each other, they are fixed with each other. It acts as a cementing material. It is made up of pectin, lignin and proteins, some proteins. So this is about the middle lamella. Then after middle lamella there is a primary wall. So it is firstly formed, and the primary wall is always present in each and every plant cell. The secondary wall may be present or may be absent according to the need of the cell or need of the plant. The secondary wall may be present or may be absent, but primary wall is always present. It is firstly formed. It is very thin layer. The primary wall is thin, the secondary wall is thickest layer. The primary wall is formed firstly, it is very thin layer. It is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. And the primary wall, it is thin and flexible. So whenever there occurs the division, cell division occurs, after cell division there is cell elongation. Cell gets enlarged. At that time, when the cell is enlarging, the primary wall may stretch. It is somewhat flexible. It is permeable. So this is about the primary wall. The primary wall is firstly formed. It is very thin layer. It is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. It may be stretched at the time of cell enlargement, and it is permeable layer. Then about the secondary wall. Secondary wall is present inside the primary wall, but it may occur according to the need. It may be present or may be absent. The secondary wall is the thickest layer. It is present only in xylem cells and sclerenchyma, that is dead cells. In dead cells only the secondary wall may occur. It is thickest layer because of deposition of chemical known as lignin. Lignin gets deposited and the cell wall becomes thickest. This, as it is thick, it gives rigidity and it is used for waterproofing of the cell. It determines the shape of the cell and it is also permeable layer. So these are the three layers. Middle lamella is the outermost layer. It is made up of pectin, lignin and it acts as a cementing material. Then about the primary wall is firstly formed. It is thin. It is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. It may be stretched and it is permeable layer. Then about the secondary wall present just inside the primary wall. It is thickest layer. It is present in xylem and sclerenchyma, that is dead cells. It is made up of lignin chemical, and it determines the shape of the cell, and it is also permeable layer. And lastly, discuss about the functions of the cell wall. The cell wall determines the shape of the cell. It may be long, elongated, spherical. The shape is determined by the cell wall. It gives rigidity to the cell. It protects from the mechanical stress and physical shocks. It controls the water loss. It is helpful in the transport of material from inside the cell to the outside, or outside the cell to the inside. It controls the transport of the material. It acts as a barrier between the cell and outer environment. It acts as a barrier. It protects the cell from the pathogen and other environmental factors. Pathogen means disease-causing organisms. The cell wall protect the cell from the pathogen and environmental factors, and it determines the architecture of the cell. So this is about the function. A short note may be asked on the functions of the cell wall. It determines shape of the cell. It gives rigidity to the cell. It protects from the mechanical stress and physical shocks. It controls the water loss. It controls the transport of material from inside to outside or outside to inside. It acts as a barrier between the cell and environment. It protects the cell from the pathogens and environmental factors, and it determines the architecture of the cell. That's it.